What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Conversation Station. This episode, we're going to be checking out 4 brand new comics that I just got today. Going to be checking out the artwork and going over the stories a little bit, and yeah, let's get right into it. Now, the first one I got is a Spawn number 21 from Image Comics. Really great cover. This story essentially has to do with Spawn just kind of feel like everybody in the city wants a piece of him. He's getting stitched up in the very beginning, and we just kind of see that he gets stitched up by this homeless dude who, he helps kind of take care of him and a band of other guys that he just looks out for a little bit. And this guy patches him up and tells him that he, stitched him up with a shoelace that he found a few streets over. Do not know what fight he's coming from to make him have to get his face stitched up with a shoelace, but still pretty awesome that, he's able to just get patched up real easily. And as I said, this entire storyline just kind of revolves around Spawn feeling like the entire city's out to get him. Like every time he, beats a big bad, there's just another one popping up to make a name for themselves wanting to beat Spawn. And in this, we get some just really crazy, amazing, good artwork of, Spawn trying to trap these guys and, figure out why everybody wants a piece of him so bad. And, with him being who he is and how he is, he's just a total badass. So, and we get this really awesome shot of him, telling this guy, essentially telling the messenger, hey, your boss can't do worse to me than has already been done. And just a really great shot of him ripping off that Spawn mask. Artwork is just really awesome. I like the really squishy looks of all the faces. I don't have any Spawn comics at all, so I just was really excited to add this to my collection, and I thought it was just really cool when I saw it. At the end, it's got these really cool, full page art with the artist's name and everything. Really awesome stuff. And on the back, it's just a really awesome picture of the Violator with the Spawn balloon. And it's black and white, but it's still really cool. Next up, we got Ghost Rider number 7. This one was, I believe, from 2006. Now, I only read half of this because I was just pressed for time earlier. But it's a really interesting story, and the artwork is really awesome. It opens up, and this is a part 2. It's Hell to Pay part 2. I don't have the part 1, but I will be looking for it and trying to find it. And hopefully I can get my hands on it and be cool to have this part of the story. But it starts off with him essentially fighting the devil. And they're just basically talking to each other and talking to him. And Johnny must not be there. So it's just the rider. It also has a really cool ad for the Ghost Rider movie. Really awesome right there. I thought that was really cool. We also have this. It's like a mosaic book from the creator of Spider-Man and X-Men, Stan Lee. But just more shots of, Johnny fighting this devil character. Like I said, I didn't get to finish this, so just interested to see how it ends up panning out. This is another awesome ad for one of my favorite games of all time, and just seeing this actually got me kind of excited when I first saw it. And you turn the page and bam. Now this is an ad for Marvel's Ultimate Alliance, and it said it's coming in fall of 2006. I love this game. I was completely addicted to this game. All the characters you could play, the storyline, everything, the powers. I thought this game was absolutely fantastic. I still do. And I think it's just what we got with Avengers was, for me, that was wish granted from the kid that played Ultimate Alliance. Just because even though you didn't get to play as many characters in Avengers, just the level that you got to use Cap, Shield, and Iron Man and all that stuff. But this comic has a really awesome ending shot of, a devil and an angel basically, talking it out, figuring out what's going to be happening with the world, fate of the world. And the ending is just next issue, Ghost Rider, him with a flaming pumpkin. Honestly, I want to get that picture blown up for Halloween. I think that would be really awesome. And on the back, we just got an ad for Echo Unlimited. Next, we have Daredevil number 603. And I'll just show the back right away. This has got just Marvel Strike Force, pretty simple. Now this one sees Elektra in the beginning. The entire city has been taken over by the Hand. The cops have been basically taken out by the Hand completely. And the city is quiet, but almost dangerously quiet. Fisk is in some type of coma. There's also a awesome shot for the Amazing Spider-Man. Really cool. But yeah, essentially Daredevil needs Elektra's help to fight the Hand, and he also releases a bunch of criminals in order to basically protect the neighborhood and tells these criminals, like, yeah, I know you'll go back to doing crime later, but for right now you need to fight the worst of the worst that's out there and protect your neighborhoods, which you would do anyway because it's your turf, and you just, you'd see them as, encroaching on your turf anyway. So basically, using the bad to get some good done. Using these guys essentially as generals in a war is what he tells Foggy. We also have an awesome ad for Cloak and Dagger, which was a really cool, short-lived show. I liked it. Definitely could have went farther, but, it was just one of those ones that kind of got scrapped by the wayside. But I definitely hope to see those characters in the future, because I just think they're interesting and have a bunch of potential. Matt Murdock seems to be like stand-in mayor, as Fisk is currently incapacitated. Foggy is trying to keep him from being Daredevil and essentially allowing him to go out. In one of the pages, he essentially says, like, wow, I can't believe I let you suit up tonight. So it's still that dynamic of, like, Foggy kind of gets to call the shots of whether or not Matt suits up. And I just really like that dynamic because it shows how much Matt trusts Foggy. And, Foggy obviously cares about Matt so much, and he doesn't want him to get hurt, even though he knows that every time he goes out and puts that suit on, he's going to do good and he's probably going to save lives. But Foggy obviously doesn't want to see his friends get hurt. This ends with the Hand releasing some type of gas that affects Matt Murdock in an unknown way. So definitely want to get the continuation to this, because I think the story will be just really interesting and really good altogether. And last but not least, we have Aquaman number 32, guest starring the Swamp Thing. And on the back, I'll just show right away, it's a big old Gap Athletic ad. This one was a really great story. This one has to do with both Swamp Thing and Aquaman fighting a villain known as Toxin. A body gets tossed into the ocean in the beginning that essentially becomes Swamp Thing. And, obviously Aquaman, not realizing what he's seeing, is distraught and wants to see what this thing is. Obviously, he interprets Swamp Thing as some kind of monster, so he attacks him, and Swamp Thing, attacks him back, and it's just one of those things where they gotta kind of find out who's the strongest and, find out what's going on. Meanwhile, this basically a politician is talking to his representative, and out of nowhere just starts being strangled essentially by his salad. Now, this enemy Toxin also has the ability to control plant life and things like that, just like Swamp Thing, so that's why Swamp Thing is looking for it. And in the midst, there's also Toxin's henchman, who is making an issue for Aquaman, so that's how they end up basically working together. This has really cool artwork with Aquaman. He's got more of a greenish tint to him. He looks actually like a mermaid and like a fish. He's got like webbed hands and things like that. With this, they cut off like a piece of Swamp Thing's hand and attach it to his hook and use it as kind of like a way to grab on. I'm guessing it's some sort of tracker. But it was really cool to see like how differently they drew him and how he looks so different. As I've said before, I didn't get to read too many of these older comics, even from like the 90s and early 2000s. So I'm just getting to see a lot of this stuff. So I'm just getting to enjoy these storylines like for the first time. And I just think it's really awesome. We got a full like Tang Mad TV ad. Here we have an amazing shot of Swamp Thing meeting up with Toxin for the first time. Toxin obviously extremely confident with his ability, and just, he knew one day he would have to face the Swamp Thing. And it throughout the entire book, the Swamp Thing is a Aquaman that, he's troubled in some way. He has some kind of terror inside of him that, he just needs to deal with, and he doesn't know how to deal with. After a long fight between the Toxin henchman and Aquaman and Swamp Thing, they eventually are successful in destroying Toxin and bringing his henchman in, even though she acts like a total lunatic by the end of it. And she's just basically repeating everything that Aquaman says. And it just kind of gets insane. And at the end, Aquaman is grabbed by Swamp Thing, who show him essentially what's wrong with him. And at the end, we get this really crazy, cool shot. And Swamp Thing tells him that it's tied to his lineage, which is the reason that he has so much darkness inside of him, and he's basically in his mind. That's all I got for now. I had a few more comics today, but I thought I'd just keep it short with those 4. I really appreciate any time you spent watching my videos, and I do hope to see you again. Thank you.